out to the neutral zone. Robidoux throws a check. Job picks up the puck. Job over to Horan. Horan moves it down the right side. Steps by one check, flips it ahead to Robidoux. Robidoux trying to barge his way through. Job follows up to Robidoux. Robidoux to Mankies. Mankies lost it off the end of his stick in the corner. Here's Steve Mankies after it. He gets ridden hard into the boards. The puck bounces free and it's picked up by the Streaks in behind the net. And they move it around the horn and start to move it out to center ice. To the blue line, kept in at the point by the Raiders. After it, Robidoux can't come up with it. And the Streaks move it to the blue line. Smith keeps it in, shoots it in front, does shot right on the rebound by Robidoux, and the save made by Mark Payne. Out to center ice. Comes to the Massena line. In the zone, they got a man breaking free, but Smith breaks up the play just in time. Now the puck in the circle. Raiders move it ahead. Here comes Job. Winds up from center ice and off the glass in behind the net. It comes right to Payne in front. These boards are very lively behind the net. Raiders make a line change. Puck almost knocked away by Rochford. Back come the Streaks down the ice. That's Cummings into the zone. Knocked off his stick to the point. Here's a shot. Meacham gloves it and holds on. Not sure if it was headed for the net, but it was close, and he grabbed it.
Might have been a little high, but coming from the point, shot from number 23, Adam Finkin, and he one-timed one through a lot of traffic. I think it would have gone over the top of the net, but Matt Meacham with a big left hand and made him feel good and look good getting that first save in there.
Ted Engstrom taking the face-off against Finkin. Off the draw. Raiders try to barge through, kept in, though, by the Streaks. Hard check thrown by David Park. Puck in the corner, right in front of the net. And it goes right on, and Meacham stops it, turns it aside. Long, rink-wide pass goes into the Saratoga zone. Back after it there is Eustace, moves it to the blue line, out to center ice. Carroll is there to dump it right back off the boards. And here comes Engstrom stealing the puck, but he's going to be called for the offside, apparently, as... Well, I don't know what the call is.
Oh, I know we've got an injury, Jerry, and it's not one of the players. The referee on the far side has the Raider defenseman went to take it, knock it into the Saratoga end. He hit the official on that far side right in the knee, and he went down in a heap, and he is in a lot of discomfort. He's back up on his feet, and we do have backup officials here at these games, but I don't know where the officials are from, but I've been impressed by the officiating in all the games we've seen here this weekend.
So far, it's been very good. The Whitcup line now out for Massena against Benner's line. Benner out there with Koth and Fennessy. Off the draw, puck in the corner. Dumped to the blue line, kept in at the point momentarily. Now it's out to center ice. Now the bodies are flying. Brown picks it up, dumps it back inside, and it's picked up by Cowison. Cowison, the Saratoga defenseman, feeds it to the Massena line. Francia dumps it right back to the Saratoga line. There's a battle for it there. The bouncer, Whitcup almost got a piece of it, but it's taken away. Comes inside Massena territory. Smith after it. Smith gathers it behind the net. Flips it around the boards for Brown. Brown looks to just kind of tie it up, then he flips it out by the blue line. It trickles out to center ice. Cowison has to turn it back and drop it for Redden. Redden bangs it off the boards, doesn't get it through. Whitcup. That's Robbie flipping it back inside Saratoga territory. Cowison bangs it out to the neutral zone. Raiders move it ahead. Smith dumps it in the zone. Cowison again for Saratoga, and he dumps it back to the Massena line. Picked up by Francia. Gets it right back again from Smith. Here's Francia looking up ice. Headman pass right on the stick of Mankies. Winds up his shot off a leg in behind the net. Bouncer in the corner. Robidoux cruising for it. Back to the point he goes. There's Job out there. He flips it back in the corner. Takes a funny bounce to Carroll. Carroll dipsy-doodles through. It trickles right on. He can't really get good wood on it. He's still battling for it in the corner there, along with Timmy Ream. And the puck squirts free, and it's back to the blue line out to center ice. Into the Massena zone it goes. After it is Big Mike Santamore trying to battle his way through a check. He does. Centers in the slot. Shot, and it goes up over the net. Matt Job in the corner. He takes a hard check by Santamore again. Puck squirts free. Here's another banger, goes into the corner. After it is Mankies. Mankies flips it high in the air, and down the ice it goes, but not far enough for icing. It's Andrew Eustace back for it. Back to the neutral zone. I'll tell you what, Mike Santamore doesn't look sick. Puck bouncing around. In the zone and almost kept in by Mankies. Now Robidoux poke checks it free. Picked up by Eric Meisner. Meisner dumps it down the ice, all the way down the ice. That'll be icing against the Blue Streaks. 11-14, 11-13. No, they wave it off. Puck comes along the boards. Raiders trying to clear the zone, have problems with it as Cummings comes in behind the net, looks to center, but it's knocked away. And to the blue line, Rochford can't clear the zone. Bouncer comes to Carroll. He just banks it off the glass, and it goes up into the stands, and the face-off will come in the Massena zone. 10:57 remaining in the first period. On the Evergreen Memorial scoreboard, it's 0-0.
I always say it's the guy coming late that's most dangerous, and you think you've got everyone accounted for in your own defensive end, but somebody coming late, you don't pick him up. And that time, number 21, Timmy Ream, came late. The puck centered out of the corner, and Ream one time to shot just over the crossbar. Excellent scoring opportunity for the Blue Streaks.
Face-off inside Massena territory. Our broadcast brought to you by Massena Savings and Loan, IRA specialists with the most competitive rates around. Tad Engstrom will take the face-off. It's going to be at the top of the circle to the right of goaltender Matt Meacham in the Massena zone. He'll face it off against Finken. Off the draw, puck sits. Controlled by Big David Park. He's going to lead Aaron Michaud. Michaud trying to catch up with it. Can't do it, though. And the puck cleared back out to center ice. Nick Toth after it. Toth out there, circles, looks, banks it ahead to Rochford a little bit too far. Goes back to Cowison at his own blue line. Cowison has it knocked away by Rochford. Comes to Toth, who dumps it back inside Saratoga territory. The Blue Streaks start to move it ahead, and they're going to dump it deep in Massena territory. Back to stop it is Massena goaltender Matt Meacham. Now the Raiders try to break it out, just clear the zone. Knocked away, comes to the Massena line, David Park. Here's Big Park with it. Does a shift across the blue line. Oh, what a move, trying to feed it through, and he just couldn't get it to Engstrom. But Engstrom digs for it in the corner. Here's Engstrom trying to center it. Here's a backhander knocked away. Comes back to the blue line. Engstrom whacks at it, deflected high up into the glass behind the net. Now Michaud digging for it behind. He gets battered. Now the puck comes free and squirts in front. The Blue Streaks try to clear, and they just managed to move it out to center ice. Kevin Horan is there to dump it back to Saratoga line. Picked up by Callison. He'll move it ahead to the red line, dump it to the Massena line. Steve Smith blocks it. Looks to headman a little bit too far for Robbie Whitcup. Comes back to the Saratoga line as they move it D to D and out to center ice. Now it's Converse. Converse lost it off the end of his stick. The bouncing puck along the blue line. Ream tries to work his way through, but it's intercepted by Nathan Whitcup. Whitcup to Converse. Converse just dumps it. Takes a bounce, stopped by the goaltender Payne. He rips it around the board. It's going to come all back to Horan. Winds up, quick shot. Knocked down as, oh boy, did Whitcup ever get nailed in front of the net? That's Nathan, but he's got the puck trying to center it, but it's cleared around the boards, and we have a whistle, and I think they got him for interference, I believe. Yeah, they're going to call interference on Saratoga as Nathan Whitcup just got railed, but the puck hadn't gotten there yet.
It was number 15, Aaron Collinson, that did put the leveling check on Nathan Whitcup, but as you said, you can't do that unless the puck is there. That's called interference, and the Raiders going to go on the power play here with 9:08 left in the first period. They've got to juice up that power play, Jerry. It's been so effective for them all year, but the last 3 games, Massena 0 for 11 on that once torrid power play.
I suppose this would be a good time to get one.
Excellent.
Back to Carroll at the point. He'll dump it into the open wing. Robidoux knocks it down. Flips it behind the net for Engstrom. He kind of overskates. Mankies will try to come up with it. He's not going to, though. Goes back to the point, to the blue line, not out of the zone. But now it's going to be the Blue Streaks dumping it down the ice. They had a man breaking in Payne, but decided not to go to him and just dump it. Here come the Raiders, back down the ice. Mankies will take it in on the left wing side. Mankies sets up, goes to Robidoux at the 45. Robidoux to Park. Park dumps it back in the corner. And it's going to be cleared around the boards by the Streaks. It takes a funny bounce, but Park keeps it in. To Mankies, back to Park. Park flips it in the corner. Engstrom. Engstrom going back to Park at the blue line. Here's Park. Turns it around. He gets a weak shot off, but it's right on. And the save is made by Mark Payne.
You mentioned these two clubs hooked up twice this year. First game in Massena back on, I think that was December 18th. Massena winning 3-0. The second, a week later, December 27th, down in Saratoga with the Blue Streaks coming out 4-0. So Raiders with 39 seconds left on this power play. Haven't gotten a real good shot. That was a shot from the point, but that one just rolled in.
8:16 left in the first period. No score on the Evergreen Memorial scoreboard. Mankies will take the face-off. Won by Saratoga. They move it back out down the ice. And they're going to have 2-on-1, maybe. Not quite. Puck picked up by Matt Jobe as he got back in time. Now Robidoux. Robidoux carries it. He's going to take it across. Robidoux right down the middle. Now he takes it wide in behind the net. He's still got it. Skates in front. Robidoux shot. Save made. Rebound bounces right back to Robidoux. He feeds it in front. Mankies couldn't get a stick on it. Puck goes in the corner. 8 seconds left in the man advantage, and it's dumped back to the Massena line. Brian Carroll. Carroll's headman to Robidoux. Robidoux just trying to deflect it ahead. Gets it back again. Dumps it in the zone. Intercepted. Dumped out to center ice. And to the Massena line as the penalty is elapsed. Here come the Raiders. Mankies has it knocked away. Back to the Streaks. Carroll taking the man out of the play. The puck trickles into the corner. And they battle for it behind the net. Saratoga with a puck trying to center it. And Meacham is going to cover up. As Chad Cummings came from behind the net. We saw a goal go in like that last night.
Yes, we did. A back-breaking goal. Might have been the winning goal, if memory serves me correctly, to beat the Shamrocks. But number 22, Matt Robidoux, team leader in goals and points per game. A great rush, 185-footer right up the middle, and he got to the blue line and cut to the right, down the right side, in behind goaltender Payne, and swung out the other side. No one touched him, got a good shot off.
Cummings will take the face-off against Robbie Whitcup. Off the draw, puck in the circle to the blue line. Dumped back into the corner. In behind the net, picked up by Cummings, looks to center, but it's knocked away by Robbie Whitcup. Headman pass, Brown. Brown going for Nathan Whitcup. Nathan trying to go wide. Callison forces him wide, but he stays with the puck back to the point. Francia shot up over the net. I think it was deflected. Brown will go after it in the corner from Massena. Flips to Robbie Whitcup, looks to center, hit the side of the net with it. Cleared back to the blue line. Francia winds up again. His shot is in behind the net. Bouncing into the corner. After it there is Koth. Koth can't clear the zone, comes back to the blue line and trickles out to center ice. Comes to Francia at the Massena blue line. Still 0-0 in the first period. Francia from the red line dumps it, and Payne will stick it into the corner. Callison will pick it up there for the Streaks. Callison lifts it all the way down the ice, and that's going to go right in on Meacham. And I think that might be Matt's first save, if they give him a save on it. Yeah, they do. And if they're all like that, Coach, he'll have a good night.
Raider lineup this afternoon. They're full strength. Tad Engstrom centers Paul Rochefort and Darren Michaud. Robbie Whitcup with brother Nathan on the right side, Matt Brown on the left, and big number 22, Matt Robidoux, centering Matt Jobe on the right side, and Steve Menke's on the left. Defense, David Park, Steve Smith, Brian Carroll, Kevin Horn, Ian Francia, Nick Toth, and Adam Wood.
Off the face-off, Raiders, Engstrom to Rochefort. Rochefort bangs it off the boards to Engstrom, knocked away from him. The Ream line out there. And here they come across the blue line. Mike Santamore, he gets across and has it knocked away. Bounces to Rochefort, bangs it out to center ice. Nobody can seem to find the handle. Finally, Engstrom gets a piece of it momentarily. Flipped in the zone. The sticks are flying around. Oh, boy. And somebody just got upended, Rochefort. But the Raiders clear the zone anyway. Lively boards as that puck took a funny bounce. Here comes Ream's shot. Glove save, rebound. Cleared to the blue line. Out of the zone yet? Not yet. Still kept in at the point. There's a shot from the point. Save made. Rebound. Poke check back to the blue line. Here's another shot. It's blocked by Engstrom. Here's another shot. Doesn't get through. And Rochefort picks it up. He'll take it out himself. Looking for the headman. Converse over skates. Couldn't quite catch the pass. The puck comes back to the blue line. Stays in the zone, though. Converse battling for it. Finally, it's taken away by Meisner, the defenseman. Meisner stick handles. Flips to the Massena line. And in the zone it goes. Back after it is Nick Toth. Here's Toth. Stops, flips it ahead, doesn't clear the zone. Here's a chance in front, but it's knocked away. Comes back to the point. The drive save made by Meacham. Puck in the corner. Racing for it. The Blue Streaks, they got a man in front. Shot save, Meacham. The puck sits in the circle. They battle for it there. And the Raiders finally clear it off the glass and down the ice. A bit of a scramble as it trickles down for icing. And the Raiders running around a little bit in their own end that time.
I'll tell you, Matt Meacham might have had an easy one on the first save, but those last two have been just outstanding. As first of all, he stoned the big line out there of Timmy Ream. At the middle, Mike Payne and Mike Santamore on the wings, and that's the big production line. But they came right back with the Finken, Cummings, and Meisner line, and they were all over Massena. Raiders back on their heels a little bit right here with 4:49 left in the first period.
0-0 on the Evergreen Memorial scoreboard. Off the face-off, puck back to the blue line, kept in at the point by the Blue Streaks. Puck around the boards. Fennessy after it. Fennessy, centers in front. The backhander knocked down by Smith before it got through. And Mankies picks it up over skates. Raiders just move it down out to center ice. Dumped right back in, back out. That's going to be offsides. as it hit Brian Benner as he was trying to get out of the zone, so offside's the call. 4.5 left. Our broadcast also brought to you by Coach's Corner, everybody's favorite sports bar. Great food, good fun on Park Avenue in Massena. Coach's Corner.
North Country connection with the Saratoga club. Coach Bobby Sanamore, originally from Fort Covington. A lot of North Country connections up there and some relatives still in the North Country.
Off the face-off. Ian Francie at a Robidoux. Robidoux lost it off the end of his stick. Dumped back down the ice. This time it's going to be icing against the Blue Streaks as it never makes it across the blue line, or the red line, I should say. The puck comes to Job. He bangs it ahead to center ice. Picked up by Meisner. Back in the zone. Steve Smith with it. Smith circles. He'll skate it ahead. Feeding it to Mankies, rather. Mankies. Here's Mankies right down the middle to Robidoux. Robidoux in on the off wing. Turns it around in the circle. Try to pass it back to the point and fanned on the pass. And here come the Streaks as they shoot it from center ice, and Meacham has to make a long save. Puck comes in behind. Horan has it knocked away, but Job is there to pick it up. Flip it ahead along the boards to the blue line, not out of the zone. Here's a shot. Meacham makes a save. The puck sits in front. Nobody gets it. Here's another shot. Big save. Rebound cleared into the corner. Bouncing puck in behind the net. And finally it's cleared around the Mankies. Mankies just flips it ahead for Job. Job racing down the line, stays with it in the corner. Here's Job after it. Job in behind the net, circles. He gets tied up, stays with it though. Here's Job trying to center. Whitcup back to the point to Job. Where's Job come from? He's back out at the point. He'll drop it to Horan. Horan just shovels it in behind the net for Nathan Whitcup. Whitcup circles around. He's bodied off the puck, and it squirts into the corner. Right in front, Brown. He couldn't gather it in. And the puck finally cleared, and out to center ice it goes. Chad Cummings over skates. Poke checked away, following on the play. Here's Payne with it. He's knocked off the puck. The Raiders bounce it back out to center. No! Doesn't clear the zone. Kept in. Here's Tim Ream. Ream's backhand pass right across the goal mouth, but nobody there. And Whitka picks it up. His headman pass intercepted. Dumped back to the Massena line. David Park picks it up. Clears it out to the neutral zone. Brown at the blue line as they battle for it. Right at the blue line. It squirts to the red line. Dumped back in the Massena zone. In behind the net, Brian Carroll. Still 0-0. Carroll throws the puck in front. Here's a chance. And they can't. Yes, they do. Score a goal. Timmy Ream gets the goal for Saratoga. And the Blue Streaks get that all-important first goal.
Well, Jerry, I was going to say at the next break that we pause here, Raiders don't need a goal. They just need a good shift out there because the momentum has completely turned around. For the first 4 or 5 minutes, they looked like a smooth machine, but the last 4 or 5 minutes, they're stumbling and fumbling and just having trouble turning it over constantly, and that was a perfect example in their own end. Matt Meacham has been holding the fort. They just turned it over again down deep in their own end, and Timmy Reen picked it up about 15 feet out on to the right of goaltender Matt Meacham, and after Meacham had made a great save and was down, Reen just put the rebound up over him, and the Blue Streaks up 1-0 with 2:22 left in the period.
Matt Robidoux to take the face-off. The Streaks get the first goal here, and they shovel it in the Massena zone. Meacham stops it, leaves it for Smith. Smith flips it ahead to Robidoux. Robidoux trying to catch up with it, can't do it. Back comes Saratoga across the blue line. Here's a shot and a save, and a good one made by Meacham again.
Excellent save, and again, number 21, Timmy Reen, going to the net without the puck. If Matt Meacham doesn't glove that long centering pass shot, whatever you want to call it, 21 streaking to the post, he's going to redirect that in the wide open net. But Raiders need something. They need an infusion of confidence right now. They're just right back on their heels. We haven't seen them play like that since the maybe the opening part of the season. A lot of pressure out on these youngsters.
And the shots on net reflected right now, 10-3 in favor of Saratoga. Face-off right side in the Massena zone. Picked up by Kevin Horan. Flips it to Angstrom. Angstrom to Rochford. The Raiders break it out. Down the right wing side. Here's Rochford. Flipping it in the corner. Puck picked up by the Saratoga D. They move it back to center ice. Horan with it there. He'll flip it around on the other side. Headman pass goes by Angstrom. Into the zone it goes. Angstrom throws a check on Cowison. Cowison flips it around on the other side to Kyle Redden. Redden moves it to the blue line out to center ice. Steve Smith, his headman, intercepted. Dumped back to the Massena line. Smith again out in. That should be an offsides, but no call, and the puck goes in the corner. Picked up by Horan. Horan skates behind the net, gathers it in, stops, looks back on the other side for Smith. And Smith will start out left side. Headman Engstrom. Engstrom takes it across, knocked off the puck, dumped back in. Bouncing puck right in front. Here is Smith throwing a check. The puck goes in the corner. Aaron Michaud flips it in behind the net, and Kevin Horan picks it up. 1:05 left in the period. Horan drops the puck. Here's an opportunity in front, and it's fired wide by Brian Benner. Puck in behind. Hard check thrown by Smith, and he's going to get a penalty. I think he left his feet on that one.
Steve Smith, big, rugged, tough defenseman, trying to infuse some spark in this Raider club. But he just leveled the Saratoga player in the corner. Is going to pick up a penalty. At one time, the Raiders led on shots 3-0. We look up at the shot clock right now. It's 10-3 Saratoga, and they're just smothering Massena. That go-ahead goal, the 12-28, coming off the stick of Timmy Reen with Mike Sanamore and number 4, Chad Cummings, picking up the assist.
So this is an important juncture in the game right here. 54.3 seconds left in the first period. The Raiders down a man. Let's see what happens. Off the face-off. Puck in the corner. Park out there with Menkes, Carroll, and Robidoux. As they battle for it, it squirts free. Mike Payne gets it back to the point. And out to center ice it goes as Cowison just couldn't handle it. He was being bothered by, let's see, who was that? Menkes, I guess. Puck in the neutral zone. Here comes Saratoga across the blue line. That's Payne with it. Payne takes it behind the net. Flips it at the 45, gets it back again. 25 seconds. They go back to the point. Cowison moves it to the 45. Back over on the other side to Meisner. Meisner's shot deflected in front, and it comes free. Carroll, and he clears it to the blue line, not out of the zone. Here's an opportunity. Side of the net. They dump it in behind. After it, Menkes throws a check. Can't come up with a puck. They got a man in front. It goes in behind, though. And Park looks to tie it up. 2 seconds. 1 second. And that'll take care of the period right there. So the Raiders hold the fort, but they do give up a goal in the first period and trail after one period on a score of 1-0. And definitely that was Saratoga's period.
Well, it's that's the interesting thing about high school sports, whether it's hockey or ping pong. These youngsters, we've got to remember, they're only 16, 17, and 18 years old, and they can be...
It goes all the way down the ice, and big goaltender Mark Payne stops it, leaves it behind the net, and the streak started out. They control the puck with about 25 seconds left of the man advantage, and here comes Mark Payne. Mike Payne in the corner now. Lost it off the end of his stick. Carroll flips it ahead. Doesn't quite clear the zone. It goes to Meisner. Meisner dumps it in the corner behind the net for Timmy Ream. Ream flips it to the circle. Back to Meisner at the point. Meisner in the 45. Here's a shot deflected, and it gets in behind the net. Puck in behind. As a penalty as he laps, the Raiders kill it off, and Carroll steals the puck and moves it ahead. Brian Carroll out to center ice. Pokes it into the zone. Robidoux after it. Big Matt picks it up on the short side, centering past Menkes, and it jumped over his stick. And the puck dump, they got a man breaking in the zone. Sanamore shot, he fired it in behind the net. As they caught it behind the Massena D, and now the puck goes around to Mike Payne. Payne gets a shot, it's knocked down in front. Bounces free as Carroll whacks at it. Here's a shot from the point, deflected in front, and it goes in the net. And it's 2-0 Saratoga. It looked like Meacham had it, but somebody got a stick on it, and the Blue Streaks have taken a 2-0 lead.
And just down at the, again, little things department, back at the other end, Steve Menkes had a glorious opportunity to tie the game up when Brian Carroll had chipped it up to Matt Robidoux, and he went down that left side, threw it out in front, and Steve Menkes all alone, and it hopped over his stick, comes back the other way. Saratoga takes a shot. Matt Meacham thought he had the rebound, but had the puck. He jumped out on it, but it escaped him, and I think that it was either Sanamore or Payne that put in the loose puck, and the streak's up 2-0 in the first minute, 10 seconds of the second period.
Oh, boy, that's a tough one right there. The Raiders are really going to have to bear down here. Trailing 2-0. A lot of time left in the hockey game, though. A lot of time. We know what the Raiders can do. Let's see if they can get it done today. Puck goes bouncing in behind the net. In the corner. After it, there is Chad Cummings for Saratoga. There's a shot in behind the net. Takes a wicked bounce. Puck cleared into the corner. And it's picked up by Kevin Horan. Horan looks up ice. Goes by Engstrom. Bouncing around at the blue line to the red line. Still bouncing around. Finally, it's picked up there by Eustace. He'll dump it deep in Massena territory. Goes to the side of the net. Steve Smith falls down, gets up again, flips it ahead to Aaron Michaud. Michaud turns it around. Flips it to Kevin Horan. Horan looks, Rochford. Rochford gets tied up. The puck squirts free back in behind the net. In behind it goes, and it's Fennessy. Fennessy has it taken away. Angstrom clears it to the blue line. Kept in there. Here's a shot, weak shot right on, and the save made by Meacham. Smith dumps it. And that's going to be an icing on Massena. As the Raiders still running around a little bit, having trouble controlling the puck. 12:50 left on the Corky's Collision scoreboard. Saratoga leads Massena 2-0.
I tell you, there's nothing like driving a dagger in the heart when you score early and score late. And the Blue Streaks they came within a whisker of the game being tied when Steve Menkes couldn't convert. But back the other way when the goaltender Matt Meacham thought he had that rebound, jumped out, and somehow it evaded him. And Mike Sanamore out of his sickbed has put the Streaks up 2-0 at the 1:10 mark.
Off the face-off, Olis trying to flip it through. Here's a backhander, goes in behind the net. In the corner, David Park. Park trying to get his stick free. Has it knocked away. They got a man in front. They can't get the shot off, though, and Whitcup will take it out of the zone. Nathan Whitcup. Whitcup stick handles into the zone, trying to go by Callison. Callison takes him out of the play. Now Robbie Whitcup throws a check. The puck squirts free in the corner. Robbie racing after it. He'll dump it in behind for Brown. Brown steps by a check. The puck bounces free, and it's flipped around the boards by Benner. Now the puck bounces in front. Whitcup's backhander doesn't get through, hit a leg. Brown in behind, centers it, knocked away by Cowison. Puck flipped around the boards and out to center ice, and Park will have to come back after it in his own zone. David Park flips it ahead for Brown. Brown trying to barge his way through, and we have a whistle. And what do we got? Too many men, perhaps?
It's going to be a penalty against the Blue Streaks.
Yeah,
and,
I'll bet it's a bench minor as they were changing lines and the puck came to their bench. And it's just a bad luck situation. But the Raiders have got to make it their good luck right here. They need a goal.
I tell you, it looked like the freeway at rush hour in front of that Saratoga bench. And as the puck came there, as you mentioned, and 3 or 4 players ran into each other, and the referee right there, he had to call that one. A break. The Raiders do need a goal because, and they got a little bit of life out there. That Whitcup and Brown line did a nice job. Matt Brown down low, really punishing the Saratoga defense and creating some excellent opportunities for the Raiders.
Off the faceoff, Brian Carroll from the red line dumps it deep. Saratoga zone. Payne tries to stop it, it comes to Angstrom. Angstrom in behind, centering pass, clear to the blue line and down the ice. As nobody there to catch the pass. Meacham to Carroll, Tim Ream on him. Carroll takes it out left side, flips it ahead on the wing to Menkes. Menkes cross ice to Carroll, but it's behind him. He has to come back. Brian Carroll, headman pass, goes by everybody, and that'll be icing against Massena.
Well, Coach Latham elects to leave the big line out there of Robidoux, Job, and Menkes, but again, they're not all on the same page. They're just kind of, I don't know, I won't say in a fog right now, but that second goal has really put a damper on them. They came out of that locker room at the end of the intermission flying out there onto the ice, but they're just, they need something to spark them, and if not a goal, again, a good shift, a couple of close chances here.
Robidoux off the faceoff. He wins it to Carroll. Carroll steps across the red line, and the Raiders move it ahead. Angstrom takes it across. Here's Angstrom trying to go wide, dumps it in behind the net, bounces to the side of the net, picked up by Tim Ream, and he dumps it down again. 40 seconds left in the man advantage.
If you're going to dump the puck in, again, you've got to be sure you're going to get there. Just don't dump it in, let the opposition get there a mile ahead of you. You've got to get to it.
Here comes Carroll, steps by the check, and takes it in the zone. Carroll to Menkes. Menkes takes it in behind, centering. Robidoux score! Matt Robidoux from Menkes and Carroll, and the Raiders get that spark and make it a 2-1 ball game.
There's the spark that they need. Brian Carroll, assistant captain, leading it up through the center zone. He crossed the blue line on the right side, gave a nifty little drop pass to Steve Menkes on that right side, and as Menkes pulled the defenseman towards him, he backhanded a backward pass back through the slot area, and coming down the left side, big number 22, Matt Robidoux on his off wing, and he had the whole net, and he roofed it, and the Raiders are back in this hockey game.
2-1 our score in favor of Saratoga on the Corky's Collision scoreboard. Robidoux getting the goal from Menkes and Carroll. Very easy one to call.
Oh, that was nice goal, nice setup. Everyone involved in that. Beautiful.
Power play goal for Massena, and they needed that one. Puck dumped in the Massena zone. Now they've got to bear down here. Kevin Horan flips it to Big Dave Park. Park's headman on the stick of Angstrom. Angstrom trying to flip it to Rochford. Poke checked away. Back to the Massena line. Horan flips it to Park. Back to Horan. Horan looks for Converse. Converse trying to get it through. Angstrom, Rochford. Ooh, Rochford winds up. Can't really get a shot off. He was trying to stay on sides, basically. The puck goes in the corner. Bounces to the blue line and out to center ice. Park is there. Flips it ahead. And Converse looks like he's injured as the Raiders control the puck as Michaud comes off for Converse. Now the puck bounces. Kept in. And into the corner, picked up on the defense by Eustace. He'll round the boards. Rochford steps in front, can't control it. Back to the blue line, Horan, and he has it knocked away. And here come the Streaks. Right back comes Massena the other way. Nice move by Michaud, getting by the defenseman, centering pass, and it comes back toward the blue line. Come on. Francia flips it into the corner. They battle for it there. Comes to Rochford, back to the blue line, trickles out to center ice. Hard check thrown by Francia. Puck bounces free. Into the zone it goes. Whitcup keeps it in. Nice job. Whitcup, here's Michaud. Michaud in front, makes a great move, gets knocked down. Here's Whitcup, shot, save, rebound, another save. And big Mark Payne coming up big, but a great shift by Massena, and that goal has really gotten them going.
Oh, I'll tell you, goals always energize a club and sets the opposition back on their heels, and the Raiders came within a whisker of tying it up as Nathan Whitcup on a nice little feed on that left side from Aaron Michaud cut into the middle, and he was all alone, he and goaltender Payne, and he put a backhander right into the belly button.
Off the faceoff, puck control by the defense. Kyle Redden rips it around the boards. Pinching in Smith, he throws the check. The puck bounces to the blue line and out to center ice. Back after it's Smith. Smith drops it over on the other side for Francia, who looks up. Nice headman to Brown, goes off his skate. Back in the Saratoga zone. Picked up there by Toga. They move it out. Smith dumps it right back in. Raiders have to get onside. They do. Puck comes back into Kyle Redden. Redden rips it for Cowison. Cowison back to Redden. Redden starts out left side for Saratoga to the blue line. And it's to the red line and dumped in the Massena zone in the corner. They wave the icing off. Puck bouncing along the blue line. Brown trying to move it ahead for Robbie Whitcup. They battle right in front of the blue line. Still in the zone. Where is it? Bounces right in front of the net, and Francia picks it up. He rips it around on the other side. Kept in at the point. Knocked down. Ooh, in behind. The defenseman for Massena deflected it, but now the Raiders clear it. And all the way down the ice, that'll be icing on Massena. With 8:23 left in the second period, the Raiders have broken through here. The scoreboard reads 2-1 for Saratoga.
And that Raider goal coming at the 4:08 mark of the second period is 26th of the year. Matt Robidoux with Steve Menkes and Brian Carroll picking up the assist. And as we said, that certainly has energized the Raiders. Are right back, even though they trail by one. You can just see a complete makeover of this club. You can see the confidence back in their stride.
Off the faceoff, Reams line against the Robidoux line. Puck in the corner, controlled by Saratoga. Now a hard check thrown there. The puck bounces free. Raiders try to move it. Stolen by Ream. Now Robidoux comes up with it. Moves it ahead to Menkes by way of Job. Here's Menkes leading the attack. Gets by the defense. Here's Menkes in the corner. Setting up shop. Takes it behind. Circles in front. The bouncer. They can't get a stick on it. Back comes Saratoga the other way. Into the zone. The big long shot. And the big rebound bounces in front. Then cleared in behind by Big David Park. Park picks it in behind the net. Turns it around. Lost it in his skate, gets tied up. There's a battle in behind. The puck squirts free to Payne. Payne flips it in front, and it bounces in behind. Here's Payne again, flipping it to Ream, and it comes right across the goal mouth. The Raiders, Menkes will pick it up and take it behind the net. Here's Menkes with it. Flips to Job. Job takes a whack at it, bangs it ahead, doesn't clear the zone. Now finally Robidoux will pick it up and take it. Here's Robidoux. Robidoux does a shift, takes it across the blue line, and when he did, Job came in offside as Robidoux made his move right at the blue line.
Yes, he made it about half a second too early as he put Matt Job offside by half a stride on that right side. But boo, the Blue Streaks came within a whisker of going up 3-1 as they centered a couple across the crease, and number 14, Mike Payne, had a great opportunity to restore that 2-goal advantage.
2-1 our score in favor of Saratoga. Nick Toth with it, flips it ahead for Rochford, knocked away. He stays after it in the neutral zone as they battle right in front of the penalty box, and the puck squirts free. Toth makes a nice move and then dumps it ahead bounces high in the air into the zone, back out to center ice. Toth again. He'll pick it up, turn it around, and drop it back to Smith, but it goes by him in the corner as it jumped right over his stick. Smith takes it in behind. Smith battling for it there, trying to flip it around the boards to Rochford. Paul picks it up, circles, looks, and then flips it high in the air out to center ice. Cowison dumps it right back in the zone. Nick Toth picks it up, circles behind the net. Here's Toth, headman Angstrom. Angstrom to Rochford. Rochford makes the move, lost it, but following up his Toth, flips it on the boards to Angstrom. Angstrom gets by the check, but the puck got away from him, picked up by Cowison. He flips it ahead to the Massena line. Toth knocks it down there. Here's Toth. He's going to stick handle. Takes it across, makes a couple of good moves, still has it. Flips to Angstrom. Here's Angstrom. Angstrom feeding to Michaud. Michaud backhander. He fired it wide. Puck to Smith. Pinching in. Smith battles for it. In behind the... Oh, hard, high. Cross check. No call. And the puck dumped down the ice. It's going to be icing against Saratoga. Our broadcast brought to you by CCOM, the members of the CCOM Federal Credit Union, located in Massena, Malone, and Potsdam. Massena Building Supply in downtown Massena for all your building supply needs. By Reynolds Metals, St. Lawrence Reduction Plant. Working together, their quality shines through.
Coach Ed Latham up on the bench to get a better view of the official, and so the official gets a better view of him. Protesting the non-call as Steve Smith just got railed behind the net, but it was the high stick. It was you can hit a guy high, but you got to keep that stick down, and the Saratoga player had it up awful high. If it was any higher, it would have hit the ceiling.
6:01 remaining in the second period. 2-1 Saratoga on the Corky's Collision scoreboard. Off the face-off, out to center ice. Here comes Saratoga, and losing it off the end of his stick was Mark Payne. Francia flips it right back out into the neutral zone. Now racing for it is Robbie Whitcup. Whitcup has it knocked away, bouncing around, and Nathan comes back to the Massena blue line. Kevin Horan. Horan goes to Francia. Ian picks it up, flips it ahead right down the middle, but it's knocked away to the Massena line and trickles in the zone. Meacham stops it for Francia, who rips it around the boards for Whitcup, who deflects it out to center ice. Now Brown will chase it down. Here's Matt Brown with it. His headman pass intercepted, and back the other way comes Saratoga in the zone. Mike Payne with it. Payne knocked off the puck. It flips to the blue line, out to center ice again, goes to Eustace, and Eustace dumps it in the Massena zone. Stopped by Meacham behind the net for Francia. Francia flips it on the wing, but it gets by everybody back to the point, kept in at the point. Here's a shot. Meacham makes the save, the rebound. He has to make a save on it and hold on for the face-off as he gave up the rebound right on the stick of Fennessy, but Fennessy wasn't ready for it. He didn't get much on it, and Meacham covered up.
And we're down to 5 minutes left to play in the second period. Each club picking up a goal. The Blue Streaks getting the first one at the 1:10 mark to go up 2-0, but the Raiders coming back on a power play at the 4:08 mark. These two clubs, the last 8 meetings, Jerry, they're right down the middle, 4-4.
Robidoux line out there now against Olis. Olis, Fennessy, and Koth. Actually, Benner is out there. Off the draw, puck in the corner. Carroll just banks it off the boards out to center ice, bounces around. Robidoux comes up with it. Here's Robidoux. Oops, over skates, poked away, but back in the zone it goes to Mankies. Winds up, his shot deflected in the corner. Job cruising in after it, flips it in behind. Picked up by the Saratoga defense. Park pinches in and keeps it in momentarily, but now it's back out to the blue line, back in again. And offsides will be the calls. It hit Mankies on his way out. And we'll have a face-off just outside. 4:34 left in the second period. And on the Corky's Collision scoreboard, 2-1 Saratoga.
These two clubs have met twice down here at Utica. Back in '93, the Raiders beating the Saratoga in the championship, and then in '95 in the semifinals.
Off the face-off, puck goes by Park into the Massena zone. There's a foot race for it. Carroll gets back and takes his man out, and Meacham flips it ahead. To Job to Mankies, and that's going to go all the way down the ice for icing. And the face-off will move back in the Massena zone.
Brian Carroll, an outstanding defensive move as the puck jumped over his partner, David Park, on this left side, and the Streaks had a partial breakaway. Carroll had to come from the weak side, and he dove to knock that puck off into the corner, or the Saratoga club would have walked in from the top of the circle.
4:19 left. Second period, 2-1 Saratoga. Angstrom's line coming out. He'll face off against Olis in the Massena zone after the icing. Now it's going to be Rochford taking the draw, and he wins it back to Nick Toth. Toth takes it behind the net, goes to Michaud on the wing. Michaud's headman by everybody, intercepted, dumped back in Massena zone. Actually, it bounces up into the Saratoga bench before it gets in the zone.
this game and not wanting to make a crucial mistake that would lead to either a tie game or a 2-goal advantage for the other side.
Our broadcast brought to you by the Cabinet and Bath Shop, your complete interior design center, Outer South Main Street, Massena. Here comes Steve Smith. Takes it off the faceoff, takes it wide into the zone. Behind the net, Smith over skates, and the puck picked up by the Streaks, and they just dump it right back out. Toth is there to shovel it back in the zone. Payne will stop it. The Saratoga goalie leaves it for his defenseman. Raiders trying to put some forechecking pressure on Meisner. The puck hits the side of the net, but it's picked up by the Streaks. They move it ahead to the blue line. Not out of the zone yet. Rochford keeps it in. Now it's dumped. Into the Massena zone it goes. Not far enough for icing as Toth comes up and flips it ahead. Mishaw turns it around, looks up ice, trying to feed it ahead to Angstrom. Angstrom in a foot race for it. Angstrom is impeded, and the puck goes in the corner. He's still battling for it. It pokes free. Now the Streaks trying to move it ahead, and down the ice it goes. Far enough for icing? I don't believe so. This ice is so slow, you got to really fire it to get an icing. Here's Toth with it, banging it ahead, and he really fires it, and he's going to get an icing. 3:06 left in the middle period, and it's 2-1 Saratoga.
Nice crisp day down in Utica this morning. I don't know what the temperature, I would suspect in the 20s, mid-20s, but no precipitation in the air.
Robidoux line coming out. Our broadcast also brought to you by our good friends at the American Legion. And we want to take a moment to thank the folks from the American Legion for providing our broadcast rights fees. Off the faceoff, puck sits in the circle. Now the Raiders look to move it ahead, and they do. Here's a chance for Menkes. Menkes trying to bust by the defense. He takes it into the corner, goes to Robidoux. Robidoux steps down the middle. Here's Robidoux, gets a shot off, and it's blocked. Bouncing in the slot, and it's to the blue line, and it's kicked out to center ice. Robidoux just couldn't get good wood on that. Now it comes again, Job. Nice move in the zone. Here's Matt Job with it. Gets a shot off. Save made by Payne. Quick snapshot. Job digs it out of the corner. Back to the point. Carroll's shot is high and wide. Puck bounces around on the other corner, and the Streaks will pick it up there. That's Tim Ream, and he just dumps it out to center ice. Now it's flipped by Mike Santamore into the Massena zone, lifted right back in the air by Brian Carroll. Cowison's there, dumps it back in Massena territory. Picked up by Carroll, bangs it off the boards, doesn't clear the zone, kept in by Payne. Here's Payne, steps by the check, into the circle, centers it, nice pass back to the point. Meisner, shot, he fired it wide. He was looking for the corner, back to the other point. Here's a shot, that's fired wide. Now the puck comes to Robidoux. Robidoux gathers it in. Here's Robidoux, shifting at the blue line, takes it across. Robidoux winds up, passes in front to Menkes, gets a shot off, and the save made by Payne as he couldn't get much on the backhand. Puck cleared around the boards to the blue line. Kept in by Kevin Horan. Horan flips it in the corner. It's intercepted, but not out of the zone. Menkes gets knocked down. The puck bounces free. Just over a minute and a half. Here's Eustace, and he'll dump it, and Meacham has to make the save. Big bouncer in front, knocked down by Smith. He'll flip it ahead to Whitcup, and Whitcup will break. Here's Whitcup, head man to Robbie Whitcup. He deflects it down the ice. In the corner it goes. In Saratoga territory, Redden with it. Flips it around the boards to the blue line. Kept in at the point momentarily by Horan. Now it's picked up by Meisner, and he'll dump it to center ice. Bouncing puck comes in front of the Saratoga bench. Horan is there to flip it ahead, knocked away as they battle for it. Right at the blue line into the Massena zone. Here's a shot, and Meacham makes a save and steers it in the corner. After it there, Benner. Now it's picked up off his stick by Massena. They move it out to center ice, dumped right back up into the stands, and the whistle will blow on the face-off with 50. They better stop the clock.
And the crowd is yelling down there that they'll probably add a couple of seconds back on that clock, Jerry.
Should be about 53 seconds left.
Number 21, Matt Job. We've talked about him so much this year. He's had a quiet first two periods, Jerry, and I think he's more effective when he uses that size, 6'1", 185, and he hasn't been until the last shift out there. He leveled big number 16, Captain Mike Santamore, right at center ice, and this will kind of stir him up and stir that line up, that Robidoux, Job, and Menkes. They've got to go for the Raiders to go. There's no question about that.
I think they're going to put a few seconds on the clock, maybe 2 or 3 seconds. They're talking over to the timekeeper. 2-1, Saratoga leading. 50.1 seconds is what the clock says right now. Our broadcast also on WMSA today Brought to you by the Sons of the American Legion, helping with the expenses as well. We appreciate that. Don't forget their casino night tonight at the Sons of the American Legion. Also, North Country Savings Bank throughout the North Country, Massena, Potsdam, Ogdensburg, and Canton. Coca-Cola bottlers, the bottlers of Powerade, Nationwide Insurance, and your local Nationwide agents, Robert Adams and Robert White, East Orva Street in Massena. Off the face-off, the puck trickles, and it's dumped into the Massena zone. In the corner it goes. After it is Cummings. In behind the net, goes off his stick in the corner. Bounces back in on the other side as they battle for it. Finken can't control it, and it's dumped out to center ice. Puck bounces inside Saratoga territory. They control it. Raiders trying to put some pressure on here, and it's dumped right back inside Massena territory. In behind the net. Steve Smith flips it on the glass, out to the neutral zone. Picked up by Cowison. Cowison dumps it back in the zone. It goes in behind the net. Brian Carroll with it. Carroll starts out for Massena. Carroll has it poked away. Stolen in front. Good move there. Here's the shot. Big save by Meacham. The rebound. They score a goal. 3-1 Saratoga.
Raiders turn it over deep in their own end, and initially I think it was number 3, Cummings, that took the shot. I don't know if he got the goal. Matt Meacham made a great save, and then thought he had the rebound. It went up in the air, and the Saratoga player, I think, picked it right out of the air. We'll see if it's Cummings gets the goal, but oh boy, with 5.2 seconds left in the period?
Yeah,
oh,
actually
boy.
There was a little more. They didn't stop the clock again right away, but that'll give Saratoga a 2-goal advantage, and the Raiders are going to have their work cut out for them in the third period.
Oh boy, I guess so. And we talked many times about scoring late, scoring early, but with 5.2 seconds, that is a big hill to climb, and the Raiders are certainly going to, we'll see who gets the goal, if it's going to be Cummings or not, but he was involved in there.
Off the face-off, yeah, it is Cummings. And the puck goes down the ice, and the time will run out. And off the face-off. The bouncing puck along the red line. Job takes a whack at it, but it comes deep in the Massena zone. Meacham stops it in behind Steve Smith. Smith flips it on the wing to Mankies. Mankies can't quite catch it. Goes in behind again to Kevin Horan. He'll start out on the other side. Horan looks up ice, takes it behind the net. Here's Horan, circles back the other way, looking for the right move. Now he's going to lug it himself. Horan takes it out of the neutral zone, into the neutral zone, I should say, has it knocked away. Dump back inside Massena territory. Smith after it there. Takes a whack at it. He bounces into it along with Tim Ream. The puck bounces free in front, and it's still in the slot. Finally, Smith comes back after it. Here's Smith along the boards to Job. Job trying to move it ahead to the blue line, and is it out to center ice? It is. Dumped right back to the Massena line. Horan knocks it down, flips it ahead for Mankies. Mankies takes it across. He's taken out of the play, and the puck picked up by Payne. In behind the net it goes for Cowison for Saratoga. On the wing to Big Mike Santamore. Santamore almost lost it, doesn't clear the zone. Job keeps it in. Well, I thought he kept it in. And the official was not really in a good position to make that call, but he calls it offsides.
As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, excellent officiating throughout this tournament. Referees from all the different sections, and these guys are the cream of the crop. They get down here, and you got to be good, and they've done a good job.
Angstrom's line coming out now for Massena. Off the face-off, Tad takes it across, has it knocked away. Picked up there by Eustace. He flips it ahead to Cummings, who has the third goal. In behind the net it goes in the Massena zone, comes to David Park. Park looks up ice for Rochford. Rochford breaks out of the zone across the red line. Paul trying to make the move, but it's knocked away by the defenseman Meisner, and the puck comes back to the red line where it's dumped in the zone by Brian Carroll. Payne comes out of his net to play it. Plays it to Eustace. He flips it around the boards to the blue line. Can't get it out of the zone. Here comes Saratoga with a 2-on-1 break. Saratoga in behind the net. Good job by Carroll tying up his man. Now they try to center it, and Meacham is going to dive on it and hold on for the face-off. And I don't think the forward realized he had a trailer, as he just had the puck and didn't get the shot off and didn't pass it.
He didn't pass it, and number 23 down there, that's Adam Finken is... when he gets to the bench, I'm sure his coach is going to get him over to the side and say, what are you doing? He's headbutting Paul Rochford down after the whistle, down to the right of goaltender Matt Meacham. And Rochford turns around and looks at the official. Hey, this is not the WWF.
Off the face-off, Ian Francia flips it ahead to the neutral zone. Dumped right back in. Raiders clear, though. Whitcup trying to flip it to Robbie Whitcup. Gets away, and Cowison circles back in his own zone. Here's Aaron Cowison off the boards down the ice, and icing will be the call. And the faceoff will move back inside Saratoga territory. 12:56 remaining in the third period, and maybe in the Massena season. The Raiders need a goal here, trailing 3-1.
That goal at the late in the second period gives the Streaks that much more, a little more breathing room. Can afford to make a mistake, but I still think the next goal, the next one, we said it, the next goal will prove to be the winner of this hockey game. Maybe not the winning goal, but it's going to spark one team or the other.
Robbie Whitcup to take the face-off. Battles for it in the corner. Cowison picks it up, doesn't clear. Steve Smith cranks it up, fired it wide. Francia back at the other point. He dumps it in the corner for Brown, in behind the net. Matt Brown after it. He's being impeded. Now Robbie Whitcup comes in and flips it behind the net. But it comes free to Benner. Benner rounds the boards to the blue line, kept in at the point. Here's Nathan Whitcup, dumps it to the open corner, bounces side of the net. Payne, the goalie, will clear it around the boards, and it's picked up there by the defense. Massena trying to pinch in. Here's an opportunity for France, and it's Brown. He flipped it back, but it's intercepted, and now the Streaks break back the other way. It's Fennessy. Fennessy to the Massena line. He flips it in the zone, and the whistle blows as Steve Smith was mixing it up there with Fennessy. And the face-off will come outside. I don't know why they blew the whistle.
Well, the Saratoga player lost his helmet. It came off, and the official, not wanting to see the youngsters play out there, blew the whistle. And no advantage. Massena deep in their own end had the puck, but good call by the official. I'm sure that's in the rule book, too.
Our broadcast brought to you by Charlie's Tavern in Massena. Great place to meet and greet your friends. Also Murphy's Farm and Garden for nature lovers and pet owners all over the North Country. Route 37, Massena. Robidoux out to take the face-off. It comes to the red line, dumped back in the zone by the Streaks. Brian Carroll with it. Carroll behind his own net, starts out. Flips it ahead for Job. Job has it bounce away, and then he bangs it out. Trying to get it to Mankeys, but it's knocked away. Dumped to the Massena line, Carroll. Carroll off the boards. Comes out to the neutral zone, Robidoux. Here's Robidoux. Takes it across. Makes the move, gets by one. Puck trickles right in on Payne, and he's going to cover it up. As Robidoux got by two Blue Streaks, but the puck rolled off his stick and right to Payne, and he holds on. And Robidoux had to jump over him.
Oh, that patented moves by Matt Robidoux as he came down the right side and turned that defenseman inside out and then beat the second guy. But just it rolled off his stick after he had beaten everybody, and before he could trigger the shot, it rolls off his stick right to the goaltender.
Robidoux will take the face-off. In the zone, puck comes to Meisner. He rips it around the boards for Saratoga. They move it ahead out to center ice. Here come the Blue Streaks across the blue line. It's Payne with it. His shot up over the net and into the stands.
Yeah, it went. The referee didn't know it. That hit as Payne took the shot from about the top of the circle on the left side. It hit something in front, and it went up over the dasher into section 109 over there behind that. I just love this facility, Jerry. It's a great place to watch a game, and we talked about it many times every time we come down here. It's a great facility, the Utica War Memorial, the Odd.
3-1, Saratoga leading on the Evergreen Memorial scoreboard off the face-off. Puck goes in behind the net to Carroll. Carroll flips it along the boards and gets tied up. Puck squirts free again behind on the other side. After it there is Payne. Payne flips it to Santamore. Santamore drops it for Tim Ream. Ream, they try to cycle, but Carroll breaks up the play. Trying to flip it ahead. It's tied up along the boards. Comes to the side of the net and is picked up by Horan. Horan lost his skates, then flips it into the corner. Raiders just trying to get something going here as Carroll flips it ahead for Job. Job moves it down to center ice. Back to the Massena line it goes. Back across the blue line is Payne. Stolen away by Robidoux. Here comes Robidoux down the ice. Comes up with a puck. Gets knocked down. And where is it? Along the boards as they battle for it to Steve Smith. Smith flipping it. On the other side, David Park gets a quick shot off, and Payne makes the save. Didn't get much wood on it. Puck in the corner now. Engstrom digging for it there. Puck back to the blue line. Smith shot through traffic. Save made by Payne. And there was a lot of traffic in front that time.
And the Raiders picking up their first 2 shots. They went from 9 to 11 here in the last few seconds, and that last one was a little tougher than it looked, as you said, through traffic, but goaltender Mark Payne had it spotted all the way. Face off deep in the Saratoga end to the left of goaltender Mark Payne.
Raiders have the Engstrom line out there. Engstrom, Michaud, and Rochford. Smith and Francia. It will be Finken taking the draw. Engstrom wins the faceoff, drops it back to the point. Smith shot, goes in behind the net. Engstrom picks it up, centering pass in front, but it's cleared to the blue line and out to center ice. Here come the Streaks. They just dump it. That's Cummings rather. Cummings into the Massena zone, in behind the net. A bouncing puck as Kuprinal throws a check. The puck comes around the boards. Rochford, he can't come up with it. Another check thrown there by Francia as they battle for the puck. It bounces to Kuprinal, gets a weak shot, and the save made by Meacham. And we'll have a face-off under 10 minutes to play here in the third period, and on the Corky's Collision scoreboard, it remains 3-1 Saratoga.
So this is a thing that just inspires your team, the Saratoga club. They see Chris Kuprinal out there. He's 5'7", 140. He outworks 2 or 3 Raider players along the boards, comes up with a puck and darts through 2 or 3 more and gets a shot off, and just can't let that happen.
Off the draw. Francia with it. He rips it around the boards for Michaud. Michaud turns it back. He'll flip it to Francia. Still some good pressure put on by this team from Saratoga as they haven't let up at all. Francia battling along the boards. It squirts free right in front of the net. Finally, the Raiders try to clear it, and they do to the blue line and out to center ice. But it's controlled there by Brandon Smith. He flips it ahead and dumped right back in the Massena zone by Cummings. They've gotten a good shift out of this line. Now the Raiders move it to Engstrom. Bangs it off the boards. Rochford, poke checked away. Offsides will be the call as it comes back across the blue line. 9:22 left in the third period. Still 3-1 in favor of Saratoga.
And the Raiders, it's in the game plan, but they want to utilize the weak side, the wide side wing. You want to stretch that defense, and they're not doing it. And every once in a while, I mean, it keeps coming, flooding one side of the ice, and that weak side is wide open. And the Saratoga bench has recognized that. The coaches, they're always pointing across the way, watch the weak side wing, but the Raiders are not taking advantage of that.
We've got the Whitcup line against the Olas line.
This line has probably been the most effective line for the Raiders out here this afternoon.
Absolutely. Raiders only scored 1 goal here, and that's on the power play. Off the draw, puck comes to the Massena blue line. In the zone, knocked down by David Park. He'll flip it on the wing. Matt Brown. Brown's head man trying to get it through to Whitcup. He barges his way through. Backhander. Payne makes the save and holds on. If Nathan had been able to lift that backhander, he would add a goal.
Great lead pass through the neutral zone by Matt Brown as he hit a streaking Nathan Whitcup. You go without the puck, and Nathan hit it just inside the blue line and tipped it by the Saratoga defenseman, walked around him, got a good backhander off, but couldn't get it up as Mark Payne, sprawling, prone on the ice, made a good save.
Off the faceoff, puck in the corner, picked up by the defenseman Meisner. He rips it around the boards for his partner Eustace. Eustace moves it to the blue line, out to center ice. Dumped to the Massena line, right back to the red line, picked up by the Streak D, and they'll dump it again. In behind Brian Carroll. Here's Carroll, looking to flip it ahead. It's out to the neutral zone again, picked up by Eustace. Back into the Massena zone it goes. Brian Carroll looks, he'll drop it on the other side for Park. Ahead to Robbie Whitcup. Whitcup to Matt Brown. Brown has it knocked away. Puck trickles back inside Saratoga territory, and they dump it again. Back to the Massena blue line, Brian Carroll. Looks up. Ahead it goes to Nathan Whitcup. Whitcup takes it in the zone. Here's Whitcup going wide to the right side, looking back to the point. Now Brown is there to help out as he gets taken to the boards. Puck cleared around. Steve Smith pinches in. Here's Smith, gets a shot right on the rebound. Score! Nathan Whitcup! And the Raiders get one back here.
There is the spark that's needed. Nathan Whitcup gets a big one as he came out of the corner to the left of goaltender Mark Payne, and I think it was Steve Smith coming on the left side, pinched down on the boards, and from a tough angle, threw it at the net. Payne made the save, but coming from the opposite corner, Nathan Whitcup, and he just put the rebound on the short side by goaltender Mark Payne, and the Raiders have a life with 8:07 left to go, only trailing by 1. That's going to be Nathan Whitcup from Steve Smith, and we'll see if there's another assist on it.
As Smith pinched in, I don't think there will be, as the Saratoga defenseman cleared it around the board. Smith pinched in and got a sharp angle shot. He really had no chance to score, but what there was a rebound.
And what you say, you direct, and only good things happen when you throw it towards the net. And Steve Smith from a tough angle did, and coming from the other side, no one picked him up. Nathan Whitcup.
Here comes the puck off the faceoff right on Payne. And he'll hold on as it just trickled in. Actually, Menkes kicked it toward the net, and Payne stopped it. 8:01 remaining in the period. 3-2 now. Saratoga leading by a singleton. The Raiders are back in the game.
None any bigger than that one for Nathan Whitcup, his 4th of the year from Steve Smith, coming at the 7:53 mark here of this third period.
Face-off left side of Mark Payne in the Saratoga zone. Menkes will take the draw. Off the face-off in the corner. Menkes digging for it. He's got it behind the net to Job. Now Menkes trying to come from behind. He got tied up in the mesh, and Toga picks it up and flips it around the boards to the blue line. Carroll, can he keep it in? He does. Here's Robidoux. Lost it off the end of his stick, and the puck trickles out to the red line and is dumped by Job right back in the zone. Puck picked up in the corner by Eustace. Oh, hard check by Job. Huge check by Job. Puck trickles into the circle. And where is it? Out by the blue line, kept in at the point. Backhander, and Menkes gets upended. The puck bounces free, and it comes to the Massena line. Picked up by Carroll. Carroll looking for Menkes. Takes it across, winds it up. His shot. The rebound comes to Job to Robidoux. Trying to deflect it back to Job. Back out to Robidoux. Robidoux to Menkes. Menkes cycling. Takes it in behind. Looks to center. Park pinches in. Winds up the shot. Doesn't get through. It's blocked. And finally, Saratoga will pick it up and lug it to center ice. David Park intercepts the pass, trying to flip it ahead as the Raiders make a line change here. The puck along the boards into the Massena zone. Carroll, he's got some skating room. Here's Brian Carroll, steps by one, gets knocked down, and the puck intercepted. Bouncing to the line. Here comes Menkes right back across. Steve Menkes trying to make the move. He's taken out of the play. Callison picks up the puck, comes all the way back to the point. Kevin Horn keeps it in. Raiders have got a life here. Puck bouncing around on the other side. They want to make a line change, though, and they finally do. And now Saratoga moves it out to center ice. Dumped to an open wing. Picked up by Rochford. Rochford trying to flip it ahead to Angstrom. Angstrom to Rochford. Rochford dumps there. Deep in the zone. Aaron Michaud and Callison go together. Callison gets there first, flips it ahead, not out of the zone. Smith winds up, his shot is blocked, bounces right in the slot, and bounces away. It's 3-2 Saratoga with 6:07 remaining in the third period. The puck tied up along the boards. It bounces free, and finally the whistle will blow as they tie it up again, and we'll have a face-off. And now Saratoga in a little bit of disarray.
Well, Jerry, just we talked about getting the puck down low. Perfect example there. The Raiders dumped it deep in the left corner. The Saratoga defenseman got it there first, but he was pressured. He gave it up to his wing on the left side. He was pressured. The forechecker right on him. What did he do? He just chipped it back on the point, and who was there but the Massena defenseman? Started it all over again, drove it down their throat. That's what you have to do. Get in and forecheck with some intensity and get the puck in deep, and that goal has really added a spark of life to this Raider club here.
Raiders coming out now with Chris Converse along with Robidoux and Job. And Job will take the face-off.
That line, again, has been quiet, but that last shift out here, they had their best shift of the afternoon.
Off the face-off, Job trying to barge his way through, can't get through. Saratoga moving it along the boards out to center ice. Converse from the red line, dumps it back inside to Robidoux. Robidoux gathers it in. Here's Robidoux's backhander. The save made. The rebound in the corner. They bounce it to the point. Here's another shot. Goes wide. Comes back to Converse. He winds up his shot. He fires it wide. Takes a real weird bounce off the glass, but it's picked up by the Saratoga defense. And they're going to dump it to the Massena line. And Kevin Horn picks it up. 5.5 left. Raiders trail by a goal. Headman pass comes to Robidoux. Matt takes it across. Nice drop pass. Job winds up. Glove save, and a good one by Payne.
But the Raiders, not only have they picked up the intensity, it's paid off with shots. They've outshot Saratoga 7-1 in this past minute or two, and they have the blue streaks right back on their heels, and that's what they want to keep doing, getting it down low, and Saratoga is gasping a little bit right now.
Raiders coming back out with the Angstrom line. Angstrom along with Rochford. Now Menkes is playing wing on this line. Off the face-off. Here's a chance in front. The bouncing puck in the circle goes into the corner. Picked up by Toga. They don't clear. Here's a chance for Rochford to Engstrom. Engstrom shot right on the rebound. Payne covers it up. And a good opportunity again for Massena as the Raiders have come to life here in the third period. 5:08 left. And it's a 3-2 score for Saratoga.
And it's a forecheck that creates opportunities, and you've got to have a forecheck. You've got to get in and on top of the opposition and look them right in the belly button, and the Raiders didn't do that for almost 2 periods. They're doing it now, and again, the streaks are turning it over.
Off the face-off. They don't drop the puck. We'll do it all over again as everybody started to move. And now Mankies is mixing it up a little bit with his opposite number. Face off right side, inside the Saratoga zone, off the draw, comes to Engstrom, winds up, the shot is blocked, rebound right across the goal mouth as Mankey's got a piece of it. Puck along the boards to the blue line. Francia, did he keep it in? He does, kept it in again. Engstrom whacks at it, Francia drops it, nice play, centers it right in front, knocked away by the defense. And finally it's out to center ice. Brian Carroll whacks at it there. Bounces right back to him, flips it ahead to the neutral zone, picked up by Mankies. Mankies just dumps it, hit the official, gets it back again, flipped it high in the air. It's going to bounce right on Payne, and he's going to cover up with Rochford right on top of him. And we have another face-off in the Saratoga zone. 4:36 left in the third period. Saratoga leading on a score of 3-2. Our broadcast also brought to you by Tony's Pizza, 30 years. Bridges, your local certified financial planners. Off the face-off, the Whitcup line out there. Puck cleared. Park tries to keep it in, he can. Here comes Saratoga. They've got a 2-on-1. Back the other way, it's Payne. Payne takes it in front, shot, save made. Puck goes in behind the net to Smith. Smith ahead. Whitcup to Robbie Whitcup. He just dumps it out to center ice. Dumped right back to the Massena line, and in the corner it goes. Steve Smith after it, picks it up, drops it back on the other side. Here's Park. Park hits Brown. Brown to Robbie Whitcup. Whitcup lost his edge, but gets it to Nathan, who just deflects it inside Saratoga territory. Back out to the neutral zone. Robbie Whitcup takes a whack at it, but it's cleared and dumped to the Massena line. David Park. Here's Park. Has it tipped away. Gets it back again, but it's knocked off his calling it.
I think it is Saratoga making the timeout. That only goal of the third period, Nathan Whitcup from Steve Smith, has certainly brought a breath of life to this Raider club. And since that time, they've been all over Saratoga. Only one goal in the first period. Saratoga, Timmy Ream. 3 in the second period, 2 by Saratoga. Mike Santamore at the 1:10 mark and Chad Cummings at the 14:55. That looked like a real backbreaker sandwich in between Matt and Robert, who got a power play goal. But Nathan Whitcup here at the in the third period has given the Raiders this opportunity.
Territory, our broadcast also brought to you by Tri-Lakes Home Medical for home oxygen and all your home medical needs in Massena and Malone. An Italian affair. Wishing all the best to the Massena Red Raiders for pizza subs and delicious food. Seaway Orthopedics, a full range of orthopedic care with Dr. Bedros Pakirtsian. Coach's Corner, everybody's favorite sports bar. Great food, good fun on Park Avenue in Massena. Massena Savings and Loan IRA Specialists with the most competitive rates around. Also by the members of CCOM, Federal Credit Union. Massena Building Supply in downtown Massena for all your building supply needs. Reynolds Metals, St. Lawrence Reduction Plant working together. Their quality shines through by the Cabinet and Bath Shop, your complete interior design center, Outer South Main Street in Massena. And of course the American Legion. Paying the broadcast rights fees for us, and we appreciate that very much. And the Sons of the Legion as well, helping with our expenses. Don't forget their casino night tonight at 7. And, of course, the American Legion with fish fries every Friday during Lent from 4 to 7. Robidoux to take the face-off. Raiders on the power play, trailing by a goal off the draw. Robidoux trying to barge his way through, but it's knocked away and down the ice. Raiders have to regroup now. In behind the net, David Park with it. Mike Payne is the man forechecking to Carroll. Carroll takes it, and he's going to carry it in. Stops out by the blue line and flips it in the corner. Payne stops it. Mankey's right there trying to pick it up. Puck along the boards. And in the corner, Mankeys. Or that's Engstrom, excuse me. Engstrom trying to flip it back to the blue line. Kept in at the point, well, with a high stick. And the face-off will move all the way down the ice.
Oh, boy. Brian Carroll's question.
They're going to put it right there.
I didn't think that was up over the shoulders. I thought he picked that one right out of the air, and he's trying to indicate that it wasn't a high stick, and the Saratoga bench, they're all pointing down the other way, and I think it's going to be down in the Massena end. But I didn't think, well, it's a moot point, but we're a mile away from the ice surface, and he's certainly right on top of it, but the Raiders are questioning that.
Faceoff moves all the way back in the Massena zone. Robidoux back there to take the draw. 1:53 left. Raiders trailing by a goal. Off the faceoff, puck back to the blue line, but not out of the zone, just dumped in the corner. It'll come to Brian Carroll, and Carroll moves it ahead. Back to Park. Park picks it up. Goes to Robidoux. Robidoux poke checked away as he had to come back after it. Now Carroll with it. Carroll goes to David Park. Park's going to lug it in on the right side, stop out by the blue line. Setting it up, going to Robidoux. Robidoux didn't see it, and the puck dumped down the ice as Meacham was getting ready to leave, and he comes back in his net. Little bit of miscommunication there. Here comes Carroll in the corner. You're going to see Meacham out here again in a moment, I think. Now the headman goes to Robidoux, knocked away. Comes right back to Carroll. He's going to take it across. Here's Carroll across the blue line. Flips it in the corner. Now Meacham's out of the net. And the Blue Streaks try to clear. They don't. Raiders control it. We got the extra attacker out there. They move it around. Massena in the zone. Angstrom right in front. The shot. Save made. The rebound to the blue line. David Park bangs at it. The penalty is he lapsed. And the puck goes down the ice. That's going to be an icing call against Saratoga. And with 46.3 seconds left, the faceoff will be in the Toga zone. The Raiders trailing 3-2. They need a goal. They need the magic.
They sure do. And caught a break there. The man came out of the penalty box, the Saratoga player, and his club is getting hammered down inside. He doesn't go down to help. He comes to all the way across the ice to the bench. So for an extra 7, 8, 10 seconds, the Raiders had that man advantage when the penalty had expired, but
we're going to have a timeout here?
Yeah, definitely we're going to have a timeout.
Let's see what happens. Yeah, there it is.
Sure. You get over there and you line up like you're going to take it, and then you call it. That gives you a little more time to catch the breath. But big timeout, big face-off. Maybe the last one of this hockey game, maybe the last opportunity for these seniors to have a shot at the state championship.
Our broadcast also brought to you by North Country Savings Bank. Locations throughout the North Country in Massena, Potsdam, Canton, and Ogdensburg. By Coca-Cola, bottlers of Powerade, Nationwide Insurance, and your local Nationwide agents, Robert Adams and Robert White on East Orva Street. Sullivan's Office Supply in Massena. Also Donaldson's Funeral Home on North Main Street by the New York Power Authority. NYPA located in Massena and throughout New York State providing power. And by the Wolf Clan Restaurant. A great place to eat, the Wolf Clan Restaurant at Akwesasne. Well, it's 3-2. Raiders trail by a goal. They pulled their goaltender. The face-off down in the Saratoga zone. All comes down to this.
It sure does. 46.3 seconds, and it's kind of hard to figure out. If you say if they would have played this way through the first 30 minutes, we might not be faced with a one-goal deficit. But they've come to life. That's what makes high school sports so interesting. We said so many times, and all the drama, all the excitement. There's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser, but nothing like high school sports. But here come the Raiders. Let's see, it's Menke, Zangstrom, Robidoux, Job, Carroll, and
Smith.
And Smith. Is that Stevie Smith on that?
Yeah, he's going to be up front of the net.
He's going to be the guy, the big rock up in front. Got to win the draw, though. Who's on the draw? It's Matt Job taking this draw.
Face off right side, off the draw. He does not win it. Saratoga does. They take it behind the net, flip it around the boards, and just dump it to the blue line. Kept in. Robidoux's shot. And that didn't miss by much. Puck in the corner. Comes back to Smith at the blue line to Carroll. Carroll trying to shovel it in, but it bounces into the penalty box, and we'll have another face-off. Now we're down to 30 seconds.
Raiders, we mentioned, lost the draw, hoping to win it, get it back to that point, but they lost it, and Saratoga gained possession of the corner and ran it in behind the net, up the dasher, and the Raider defenseman outside did a great job keeping it in, but as it came around to the other side, Brian Carroll tried to keep it in and hit the Saratoga forward. Might have been Sanamore, and bounced into the penalty box.
Now they're trying, I guess, to determine where the face-off's going to be. I don't know what they're arguing about now, but they're discussing something.
Well, it's a matter of feet and inches. It's all about it's clock. I think they're questioning the clock. No, I guess they got it straightened around. Face-off just inside, about 2 feet inside the Saratoga blue line. Come on, Matt, get it ahead.
30.7 seconds. Robidoux will take the draw against Ream. Puck dumped deep, but Saratoga controls. They flip it high in the air, not out of the zone. Kept in by Angstrom. Puck along the boards in the corner. Robidoux gets it back to Carroll at the point. His shot, right on the save made. They battle for the rebound. It's covered up, and 16.3 seconds. Good opportunity as the Raiders crashed the net, but Payne stood tall and held on.
Oh boy, Matt Robidoux gained possession on that left side down low, and he chipped it back to Brian Carroll on the left point, and Carroll got off the shot through traffic all the way through, and there were a lot of white shirts and blue shirts in front of goaltender Mark Payne, but he somehow found it in there. But big scramble, plenty of time. 16.3 face-off to the right of goaltender Mark Payne. Let's see, it's going to be Job again, huh? No. Steve Menke's taking the draw this time.
Face off to the right. 3-2. He wins the draw. Robidoux back to the point to Carroll. Carroll just can't barely keep it in. We're down to 10 seconds. They clear it. They got the open net to shoot at, and they score in the open net. The game is over as the Raiders drop a 4-2 decision to Saratoga, and the Blue Streaks and the Ithaca Little Red will hook up for the second year in a row in the Division I state championship.
And the Saratoga faithful, rightfully so, on their feet. Number one, they're signaling a big crowd from both schools here, and hard-fought performance. Raiders applying all kinds of pressure, won the draw, but couldn't get the shot towards the net. And it was Mark Payne is going to pick up the goal, the empty netter, and that might be his second of the afternoon.